Hey, it's Carlos, welcome back. You ever heard of a twin flame love? Well, twin flame love are two people who are split into different bodies but share the same soul. Does that sound a little spiritual and woo-woo? Don't worry, I'm going to actually bring it back down to earth in this video. We're going to talk about what is a twin flame love and if you have it. And before we start off the festivities today, make sure you do the big three. Make sure you like and subscribe to the videos. Make sure you turn on reminders, the notifications thing, that little bell icon, whatever they call it now. And of course, if you have any videos you'd like me to make, leave that in the questions, that comment section below. Yeah, I actually didn't know what twin flame love was until maybe, I don't know, like a year ago when I was doing some searching on the internet. I hadn't even heard of it, but apparently it's a pretty big thing, so I thought I'd cover a quick video on it. Twin flames are, well, basically, like I said, they are supposedly a soul that has been split into two people. You don't really ever feel complete until you meet this person, and then it kind of, okay, I'm going to get Jerry Maguire here, it kind of completes you. So twin flames make soulmates look and feel kind of lame in comparison, since twin flames are like soulmates but with kind of turbocharge on it. But keep in mind that there's probably a possibility that your twin flame is not a romantic love too. It could just be a deep and significant relationship that you have that you're forever connected to. It could be a same-sex friend, it could be an opposite-sex friend, it could even be just somebody that you know. One of the best ways I can explain this is to give you some examples from movies that basically demonstrate this whole twin flame love story. One example would be Ghost, if you've ever seen that one with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. Titanic, of course, one of the great twin flame love stories. They were destined to be together. Romeo and Juliet has to be the epitome of it though, because it's like they cannot possibly be separated in that story. The Fountain, it's a great Darren Aronofsky film. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And of course, City of Angels, which, while being kind of depressing, actually illustrates this really well. Now, in each of these movies, the love connection was fierce and driven by forces outside of the usual romantic connections. Well, and often these twin flame love stories have an element of tragedy in them. Sometimes it means the death of one of the people, like in Romeo and Juliet. But the passionate connection of love between them creates a powerful story. So how do you feel when you're with your twin flame love? Well, when you're with a twin flame, you feel like you're whole again. Like I said before, it's kind of like two Lego blocks that are finally blocked back together. It's a higher state that feels more true and grounded. It's kind of like those remember those necklaces? They're called a Mizpah necklaces you could buy back when you were a teenager. You break it in half and you give one to the one person and you keep one, you wear it on a chain. Anyway, when you're with your twin flame love connection, it's like you've put those halves back together. Now, this is kind of a spiritual concept here, so I have to ask, do you believe in twin flames? Well, let's dig into this a little bit more before you make that call. First of all, are there different kinds of connections that we share? Well, as it happens, yes, definitely. There's everything from friendships to soulmates to kindred spirits, karmic soulmates, life partners, twin flame. You can think of these terms as describing where you are on a scale of meant to be together, right? And on the far left is tragic romance, kind of like Romeo and Juliet. On the far right is twin flame. These are the people that need to find each other to feel complete. You might think of, again, Jack Dawson and Rose from Titanic as an example of that. And somewhere in the middle are most of the average relationships that we can experience for a few years or even a lifetime over the time that that connection grows. Again, the big question is, are twin flame connections real? Well, we have to recognize that people want to believe in magical forms of love. I call this the destiny desire in all of us. We want to believe that there's a person out there that we are destined to be with. Humans enter this world with a feeling of this huge higher spiritual being that we're connected to. We feel our souls are actually connected to this essential source, but we also know that there are others out there who we could be connected with here on the physical plane, if you will. And honestly, we don't want to waste our time on people who we don't feel like we have a real connection with, especially if there's a magical connection to be had. All right, so what is twin flame love? I'm going to give you some of the signs of a twin flame love connection. Let's jump right in with twin flame. Sign number one is you've got synchronicity and coincidence. Do you seem to encounter a certain person no matter where you go? It feels like this person is connected to you. They almost follow you, even if it's only by circumstance. And you share a kind of spiritual familiarity. This person could be a twin flame love. Synchronicity is a concept that was defined by the great psychologist Carl Jung. And it means Hang on with me here because this is a little bit technical. The simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. Okay, forget all that. What he's really saying is things that coincide, coincidences that happen, but there's no reason for them. Yeah, if you find that you encounter small events that put you together with a person, maybe even overlapping your lives in strangely coincidental ways, well, this could be a sign of this twin flame love connection. Some people believe that there are no coincidences. If you notice that two events that seem to overlap or coincide, it's an indication of intention from the universe. Many people believe that if you're destined to be with somebody, you'll know it. All right, twin flame sign number 2. Have we met before? There are many people I encounter that I know I've met before, and I'm not talking about a past life necessarily, although it could have been another time period. There is a spiritual energy that we pick up on, and whether we know it or not. The flames of our desire are fueled by this deeper connection. If you've ever met somebody that you felt a familiar bond or connection to, you've probably experienced this. It may not mean that you're a twin flame with them, but it is a sign that you should pay attention to. This person might feel like an old friend, or they might feel like somebody you just knew in the past. The key is to recognize this feeling of connection to them and then explore it to see if there might be a twin flame relationship waiting in there to be discovered. Twin flame, sign number 3, is a reflection of self. When it comes to meeting your twin flame and recognizing them, one special sign is that you'll also feel like they're a reflection of you. In other words, their interests and their desires are going to mirror your own. You'll have similar tastes, similar style of clothes, maybe a similar background and upbringing. You'll have comparable tastes in food, similar attitudes about life. You'll like the same movies, the same music. You get it. It goes on and on. You'll find that they almost seem to gravitate to all the same things in life that you have. And that might be a source of where you keep encountering this person. Same places, same things. Now I got to kind of move on here. I am going to cover all of the twin flame signs at the site. If you go on over to datingadviceguru.com and check out the article, you can get the complete list of signs. But I'm going to cover as many as I can here today. Twin flame sign number 5 is, well, it's kind of divine. Yeah, there's a part of me that thinks that all relationships have a certain amount of divine essence to them. If you're with someone that is spiritually connected to you, that's a taste of the divine. Now, trigger warning here, I'm going to get a little spiritual on you, so hang on with me. When we're with this great spirit of the universe, we feel whole. We feel complete. It's what gives us that sense of completion and that sense of awe about the mystery of the universe. And that feeling also mimics the sensation of being back where we came from, right? Back from that original unity of the universe, if you will. Yeah, now this is something that's probably a little bit too spiritual for some people, but having a twin flame love means you recognize this divine feeling you have when you're with that person that seems to have that energy about them. At its core, the essence of love is rejoining that connection with the divine, right? And it's how you know you're not only with your twin flame love, it's how you'll remember your essential spiritual self. You'll feel that this is the essence of your being, and that's what makes this connection so special. All right, twin flame sign number 6, like a brother. Yeah, those people who have encountered or found their twin flame, they often describe the counterpart as feeling like a person that they've rediscovered a part of themselves when they're with them. It can kind of be a little bit eerie, but there's a feeling that this person could almost be a long-lost relative, like a sister or a brother that you never had. Remember that the essence of this twin flame union is when you realize you have another part of you that is seeking to reconnect with the person that connects to you, right? And that other half is supposedly your soul. Twin flame sign number 7, with a 50% chance of thunder showers. Well, just like a weatherman and just like with a real brother, your relationship with a twin flame could be rather stormy and chaotic. No love runs smoothly. If you've heard anything other than that, well, you got hoodwinked by some people that want to make love and relationships seem like a cakewalk. And I'm guessing you and I both know that just ain't true. Relationships are not where you get to duck out, to hide and escape from your spiritual essence or even the irritations of life. It's where you actually face your own shortcomings and your areas of weakness. You grow in your relationships. Very often, love is misrepresented as a way to escape the dark and dirty parts of ourselves. The truth is that we are uniquely positioned to face those parts when we have this twin flame connection. And even if it's just a normal, everyday relationship, it's not so bad, is it? Normal, everyday? Yeah, even a normal everyday relationship would be great to have. You don't necessarily have to have this twin flame thing, but you're also very likely to run into a lot of conflict and contention in a relationship with a twin flame. If the idea of this frightens you or makes you think, well, Carlos, that can't be right. It should be smooth sailing when you're with that person. It should immediately be calm and peaceful. Well, you might not be ready for this kind of connection to your twin, because that's not how it works. Twin flame sign number 8, he might run. Initially, you have to be aware that a twin flame relationship might be a little too much for a man to handle. There's a lot of power and energy in this connection. If he senses that there's this much power there, he might not be ready for it. This kind of connection is often overwhelming to a guy. His emotions might flood, and he might run from this relationship based on the intensity alone. So this is why you have to be able to be patient to ensure that you create the higher connection with him first. Get that bond going and the connection between you and him, so he doesn't want to run once he realizes what he's got. Don't assume that just because the relationship's going fine, that he's going to just realize you guys are twin flames and want to be a part of it. Most men don't actually seek out this kind of deep relationship until much later in life. He might need some time to mature before he's actually ready for it and be ready for you. This is why some relationships start out early in our lives and we don't get back to them again until later in our lives. And you know what? To be honest, you're going to need time to mature as well. You might not have the skills to make the practical part of a twin flame relationship work quite yet. You might need to work on all those other areas of a relationship. And this is why all the relationships that you have along the way, especially the relationships that don't work out, are so important. Those relationships are the training ground for the big relationship when it actually shows up. Twin flame sign number 9, you can't quit, is an important one, and I'm going to leave that one for you to find on the article at the site. But I do have one more that's really important. I'm going to give you a bonus sign here, and that is the twin flame sign. It's intense. Yeah, the draw between two people that are sharing this kind of twin flame connection is going to be very intense. In the same way that he may run from you because of this, you have to be prepared for the volatility and the fiery passion of this kind of relationship. A while ago, I was vacationing in Rome, and I stayed in an apartment near the city center. I was taking a few minutes of downtime to just chill out, relax from seeing all the sights. I was sitting in my bed, and I heard this woman yelling in an apartment close next door. And for a moment, I wasn't sure if she was being attacked. I mean, it was loud. I mean, I can understand some Italian, and it just didn't sound like that. And after a minute, I realized she was arguing with her boyfriend. And I have to confess that I haven't heard anyone arguing like that for years, literally since I was a kid. It was loud and very, very emotional. And then I actually heard a crash as she threw something at the wall. Yeah, it kind of freaked me out for a moment there. They eventually quieted down. Hopefully they made up as passionately as they were arguing. But I imagine that she must have had that kind of passionate relationship with him. Maybe even a twin flame relationship. The intensity of the connection can sometimes create an unbridled thunderstorm of love and passion. Now you might wonder, does everybody have a twin flame like that? Well, you also need to be clear on the reality that you might not have a twin flame out there. Don't be disappointed about that. That simply means that you are essentially whole and complete already. Someone else might search their whole lives to get what you already have, this sense of being complete all by yourself. So don't grieve that you haven't got that kind of relationship. It's pretty stormy and it might be difficult for you. It's only a small part of the population that actually does. And again, it's not necessarily the kind of relationship you want. You might think it sounds romantic and really passionate, but twin flame relationships are not necessarily a special, privileged, magical relationship. Sometimes a normal, sweet, bonding love with a guy is all you need. And even more important is knowing how to connect with the guy that you've got so that when the time comes, whether or not he's your twin flame, you're going to be able to make this relationship work as best as you can. Now, quite honestly, most women don't have this skill. This is why so many relationships run into trouble. Look, you can't rely on the man to have the relationship skills to make him fall for you or to make the relationship work. Really, I point to women as being the stewards of relationships. They're the ones who understand what it takes to connect and bond. But again, men need your help to connect, and most women don't understand how to connect to men. You're great at connecting with other women, but not always with other guys. So you can't afford to take a chance that you're going to miss out with the guy that you were meant to be with, whether he's a twin flame, whether he's your soulmate, whatever it might be. You got to know how to create that nurturing bond with a man in order to make it last. If you're like most women out there, you probably have a barrier, and it's this wall you run into. Could be like anywhere from a week to 6 weeks to 3 months, might even be 4 or 5 months, as long as that. But at some point, you seem to always run into this barrier where you can't make the relationship go any further. Does this sound familiar at all? Some women can even make it years into a relationship, but eventually they always seem to come to an end. Well, there's a reason for this happening, and it's almost always a simple little skill that the woman is lacking in relationships with men. She can have no problem keeping relationships with friends, but with guys, it's a little trickier. And it's simply because you might not understand how guys work in this respect. Men have a very different connection mechanism, a very, very different bonding method that you have to have in order to create that really powerful bond, that spiritual connection, kind of like that twin flame love. You can't wing it. You can't improv this stuff. You can't just go out there thinking, oh, I'm just a person. I came equipped with all these skills. If you've been running into heartache more than once in your life, you know what I'm talking about. You've probably hit this wall once or twice yourself, and it gets tiring after a while. You get tired of beating your head against the wall to constantly have good relationships end on you like this. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Take advantage of me. This is what I'm here for. I want you to go on over to my site and ask me any relationship question or even dating question that you've got. Okay, and I'll do my best to answer it either in these videos. I might actually be able to get back to you. I can't promise that because I get a lot of questions. But go on over and ask, because that question could make the difference in your next relationship. Go on over to datingfire.com/Ask Carlos. That's datingfire.com/Ask Carlos. Yes, the link you're seeing below me here, and probably a little link up in the corner somewhere. I never know where it's going to show up. I leave that to my video editor. But go over there now. I know you're probably going through YouTube videos left and right, but stop for a second and really think about it. If you're watching me right now, you want to make a change. You want to make a difference in your relationship, and you want to make it work. If that's something you desire and you're tired of running into the same obstacles again and again and again, and you're probably figuring out that your girlfriends aren't that much better at this than you are, then you need to go right to the source. I'm a guy who knows guys, and I can explain it to you. I can tell you everything that's going on in our heads. I can get you the understanding about men that you've always wanted. Go on over to datingfire.com/Ask Carlos. I'll send you some free videos, I'll send you a free ebook, and I'll even get you onto my free VIP newsletter that you can get every week and has more advice and more great stuff like this. Now, before you run away, please make sure you do the big three. Make sure you like and subscribe to the videos. Make sure you turn on notifications so you know when next week's video comes out. And leave me your comments and questions below about the kind of videos you'd like to see, or even if you had some comments about this video, leave that down below. Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo from datingfire.com/Ask Carlos. Shameless plug. As always, live and love with passion.